Welcome back to Summit Tactical, where today I'm going to be talking about the Brute series of low carriage rucksacks from Eberlestock. The range starts with the Brute Scout, which is a small reconnaissance orientated day bag. So think short-term missions, nipping into the field, doing recce's, etc. That is the ideal bag for that application. Next, you've got the 3500, which is 1 or 2 days sustainment in the field, moving kit and equipment around, using its modular frame. Then you have the 4500, which is over my left shoulder, which I've been using all week here in Norway. And then the largest of the bags in that series is the 6500. The three bigger bags, the 35, the 45 and the 65, are designed to move bulky or heavy equipment like that pelly case around the battlefield with ease. Each of them feature a mod frame system which allows you to strap bits of kit like that close to the centre of gravity of your body, and then the actual pack with your kit and equipment in on the outside of that, which means anything heavy is easier to transport. Putting this into context, thinking back to my Afghan days when we retook Musakala, we were tasked with moving GPMG SF up onto a high bun line. And obviously GPMG SF with its associated kit and equipment and ammunition isn't exactly light or easy to carry. Back when I was 26, obviously I didn't think much about it now, but just strapping it to your Bergen however you could and getting it done was the way we did it. Now when I'm 45, my lower back and knees are not thanking me for that method of delivery. So bags like this are ideal for support weapons groups to move their heavy kit and equipment around the battlefield without getting injured. And if they do get in a contact, they might actually be able to fire a manoeuvre with this kit and equipment on, because it's designed around keeping it stable, keeping it close into your body and being able to move around the battlefield a lot more agile than you would just sling it on top of your Bergen top flat. I'm going to break this series of videos down into two parts. What I intend to do in the first part is talk about the external features of the bag and some of the characteristics, and then in the second part of the video I'm going to show you how to strap something like that pelly case into the bag system itself, all right, and some of the features that allow you to keep that piece of equipment close to your body so you can move it around easy. What that means is I'm probably going to end up being a bit of a disembodied voice with a set of hands again as I move the bag in and out of the camera angles, so you can see some of the features that I think are pertinent to the use of this bag. So I apologise if you don't see my ugly mug for some of the video, which I'm sure some of you are happy with. Without further ado then, let's jump into the features of the 4500. As I've said already, it's a bag I've been using all week. I think it's an absolute workhorse, and I'm really, really impressed with this particular bag in itself. Moving into the features and characteristics of the 4500 series bag then. Straight away you'll notice this extremely padded mesh back system. This is fully adjustable by means of Velcro, so you'll see the shoulder harness system can move up and down through these retaining straps to allow you to adjust that particular strap either side to the shape of your body. You've also got this really, really comfortable cradle style hip pad, and the main feature of this, which is super important in my opinion, is these one-hand adjustable straps that allow you to cinch up that hip pad and get it nice and tight on the hip area with one hand, so you can keep your hand on your weapon should you need to. Great feature of this bag. You've also got a drag handle which allows you to lift and pull it, and also to place it into vehicles with ease. One of the main external features of this bag that I want to highlight is this stretch fabric on top of the zipped pouch areas. So if we open one of these up and I put my fist in there like so, you can see how flexible that outer material is, and what that allows you to do is to fill that pouch area to the brim with awkward shaped objects, and it will mould to the shape of the object you put in there. So think about spotting scopes or MVGs or anything like that. In the past, low carriage bags of this description have really hard material, and it doesn't have the flex in it to allow you to do that. So this is a great feature of the Eberlestock Brute series. That's also replicated on this large side panel pouch, which allows you to stow stuff like Nalgene bottles in there with ease. I've had a flask and an Nalgene in there, and you can just see how that's moulded to the shape of the particular bottle I put in there. On the other side, we do have a dedicated half pooch that allows you to drop a bottle in there or a tripod, and the use of these retaining straps on the side will allow you to stow that in place with no real issues. The top flap is fully removable and fully adjustable, so it can be tightened up or completely removed should you need to. And if you want a stow kit on underneath there temporarily, you've got plenty of space in those straps to allow adjustment. If we just quickly flick that open, you have a zippered top stowage compartment. The material on that one isn't the flexi sort of fabric. Okay, so it's a lot harder, a lot less flexible. And then if I just undo these two retaining clips, you've also got a zippered flexi fabric compartment to the front, which is pretty large. I use that to stow warmest jackets and lightweight Gore-Tex in there, so it's easy access. Again, you've got a couple of retention straps there, should you wish to stow anything to the outside of it. The main compartment itself, which I'll unzip in a second, has this almost full length U-shaped zip that allows you to get into your gear nice and easily. So if I just locate the zippers. And today I've got a Corinthian sleeping bag and some other stuff in there just to bulk it out. But once we remove them, I'll talk about some of the features inside the interior of this bag. So straight away you'll probably notice you've got a hanging strap for a hydration bladder, and you can stow that hydration bladder inside its own internal pocket, and then either side of the bag itself are these two large storage pockets. Back up. The bag itself weighs about £7, which is pretty lightweight for something this big with the mod frame inside. Dimensions are 26 inches by 11 by 10. Okay, so 11 wide, 10 deep. All right, so it's a good sized bag. And then the internal capacity of this bag is 4,500 cubic inches, which roughly translates to 74 litres in UK military speak. So that is the external features and characteristics of this bag. As I alluded to right at the beginning, inside you have the mod frame, which we're going to move on to in the second part of this video, and I will show you the use of that mod frame and how we're going to strap that large pelly case in between the structure of the bag itself and that mod frame. Okay, jumping back in, now we've discussed the external characteristics and features of the 4500 Brute. We're going to get onto what makes this series of tactical low carriage rucksacks really special, and that's the ability to carry bulky items of kit and equipment around the battlefield, like that large pelly case that I've got to the right of me there. So what I intend to do in the next part of this video is to show you the features of the bag that allow you to open it up to then fit that pelly case between the mod frame itself and the external rucksack low carriage area. So I'm going to be moving the bag around up to the camera lens to show you some of the pertinent features, so bear with me while I do that. Okay, first thing we're going to discuss then is the gatekeeper clips, which you can just see here. You'll see on one side of that plastic clip you've got a silver metal retention buckle. If we press down on them, you'll see it's popped open. You should just be able to see it there. And then you can slide that out of the hard point there. Same detail with the other side. So it's popped open, as you can see. And now the lid will drop away, okay? Next thing we're going to do is come down the side of the bag and release these two clips either side. And then if we go to the bottom of the bag and start to undo the clips on the ladder lock system. And all we're looking for here is to fully release each strap so we've got as much slack as possible, and pull it out like so. And you'll see the bottom part of the low carriage area of the 4500 is now loose. Okay, jumping back to the top then, we just sling the top flap out the way. We release the two harness clips like so. And then these areas here, I'll jump around the other side, are known as the load lifters. Okay, and what we're aiming to do with these is lift the bag up and over them. And the easiest way to do it, if you fold in that hard point there, fold the clip flat on one side, start to lift it up and slide it over. The other one, as you can see, will start to follow suit. If I get one side through, the other one will follow. Okay, and that's the main body of the bag dropping away. Now what we're left with is that mod frame. Okay, so we've got that modular platform to lay the pelly case onto. Straight away you'll see that you've got a harness there, okay, that's going to allow you to lay that pelly case flat on top and then strap it around it. Bear with me while I prep it to do that. So again, all the straps, you're just going to want to loose them off, undo the Velcro, so that you've got free play on all of the straps to allow you to adjust it to that pelly case. One feature that is worth highlighting, and I think I'll bring the camera closer now, is this locking ability on each of these buckles. Which means it's really, really easy to lock that buckle up in place. Okay, that is the mod frame laid bare. Now what we're going to do is lay the pelly case central to the mod frame so that the weight gets distributed evenly. And this part is really important. Okay, it's going to take some adjustment. Incidentally, if you've got anything like this carriage handle, it could be useful to pass some of the webbing straps through to aid in retention. So I'm just going to lay it in, and then the first thing I'm going to do is do up these belly straps just to keep it kind of roughly where I want it. Keep the straps done loosely to start with. That just aids in testing and adjusting it on the mod frame itself. So again, you see I've just passed that one through that carriage handle. And now I'm just going to look either side, make sure I've got it kind of central, and then I can slowly tighten this up to keep it in place for when I fit the next part, which is the load bearing harness. Again, just have a quick check. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now the load bearing harness comes up, okay, and that's going to stop the pelly case dropping out to the bottom of the low carriage rucksack. And what we're looking for here, again, just adjust these clips by pressing into the middle and taking up the slack on them so you've got as much slack as possible. And we're looking for the retention clips at the bottom of the low carriage risers. There's one. And this one I'm passing again through that carriage handle on the pelly case. So now I can adjust that, just tighten it up, and that's going to add more stability to the higher part of the pelly case. And obviously you can use your Velcro to retain any loose straps, so that's that one on. And now I'm going to bring the main body of the load carriage rucksack back over the top of the pelly case. Like so. And we've got the 4 clips on either side. Again, just press the middle of the buckle to loosen them off. And we're going to do these up kind of like we would if we were refitting a car wheel to a hub, so that we get the rucksack nice and central over the pelly case, and we tighten the load down equally either side. So I'm probably going to go opposites. So let's start here and then lead across and do this one, opposites and diagonals. And then I can work back and tighten these slowly to get that load nice and central on the pelly case. It's a lot easier when it's not -9, obviously. Okay, the last part, top flap up. And what we're looking for here is to get the ladder locks back in on either side, and then tighten them once the clips are shut. Don't tighten them before, because obviously you'll put loads of strain on the clip and there's potential to break it. And this will just retain both the top flap and the upper part of the pelly case. Then a final check of all the straps, make sure you're happy, everything's stowed away. Final part is doing up the harness clips. These allow you to pull the load closer to your body should you feel the need to. Make sure the hippo pad's undone, and that is the rucksack ready to go back on the shoulders, which I'll do now. So let's just adjust the camera angle. That's actually pretty comfortable considering I've got a full pelly case on my back. Eberlestock 4500 Brute Series.